So for the half double crochet, the first thing that we need to do is a slip knot. So we're going to hold our yarn in between our fingers, pulling it not super tight, but tight enough. And then we're going to put our thumb under and our first finger over, and we're just going to make a loop. Then we're going to put our fingers through, grab that yarn, and pull it through. And tug on this end, the long yarn. We'll tighten it right on up, and then we can start on our daisy chain or our foundation chain. So for this project, we're just going to do a small project like a coaster. So we're going to do, so we've got 17. We're going to do one more for our turning chain. And then we're going to, so we've got a total of 18 chains. To do this half double crochet, we're going to yarn over. So we've got the 2 on our hook. In the second chain from the hook, so we've got 1 chain, 2 chains, and in this third chain, we're going to pop right through there and grab a loop so that we've got 3 on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over, turn our hook down so that V is right there in the narrow part, and we're going to pull through all 3 of those loops. Again, we're going to yarn over, pop in and pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So it's very similar to the single crochet with one added step. You yarn over before you pop in and pull up a loop, and then you pull through all 3 rather than just 2. Just one little extra step. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. We're going to do this all the way to the end. One more. Yarn over and pull up a loop and pull through all 3. I'll meet you at the end. All right, so here we go. We've got 2 stitches left. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. Now I always like to count every single row, so we'll count 16. This little first stitch, it's easy to see right here, but as we turn, it gets a little bit more difficult. In the beginning, it's really easy to drop stitches at the beginning and the end of every row. So at least until you get comfortable with where these end stitches are, I strongly suggest marking them so that you don't miss them. That was something that I had a really, really big problem with. You might be, and probably will be, a lot better at noticing those things, but I certainly was not. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to yarn over, insert into this very first stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. Now that chain 1 does not count as anything. And we are going to go all the way across just like this. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. I will meet you at the end of the row. All right, here we are at the end. We've got 2 stitches left, and I know because I marked this last stitch right here. I'm going to go ahead and take that stitch marker out, and we're going to work these last 2 stitches by yarn over. I'm going to pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And one more time, yarn over. This one's a little tricky. I want to get in between there, and I want to make sure that both of these loops are on the hook. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, so we're going to basically do the exact same thing, except on this one, we're going to count our stitches. 16, okay. So this little 16th stitch is kind of hidden. Again, this is why I always mark it. and I count every row because I do drop stitches. Even though I've been crocheting for a while, I design my own patterns, I still drop stitches. It's what I do. It's how I roll. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now, if it's easier for you to, I'll show you the difference. If it's easier for you to keep track of your end stitches, you can add an additional chain for the turning chain. Again, the turning chains do not count as anything. So we're going to turn our work, yarn over, go through, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And I'll show you the difference in the turning chains here in just a second. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. It still twists, maybe not as much as this one did, but I think it gives more of a bump on the end, which is why I like just the one. But crochet is individual for every person, so do what feels good to you. Practice with it, play with it. We're gonna do these half double crochets just like this all the way to the end. I'll meet you down here. Ooh. Oh. So here we are at the very end of the row. Again, I'm going to take this off because I see now where that's at. I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 3, and then again, making sure that I've got those 2 loops right here on the hook, and then pull through all 3. We're going to count. All right, so there's our 16th stitch. Let's move on to the next row. I'm going to do a chain 1. If you guys feel more comfortable doing chain 2 like we did on this one, feel free. I'll do chain 1 on this side, chain 2 is on this side. That way we can compare at the end. Everything else is going to be the same. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop in that very first stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Now, if you find yourself having a difficult time, half double crochets still for me are a little bit difficult at times because it gets caught. If you'll notice, I don't know if you guys have had hard times you catching this, or it feels like you can't get through and you got to pop it through that way. So one of the things that I realized in my own experience is that if you don't turn your hook down this way, it's going to catch. And sometimes it just catches anyway. So give yourself some grace. Sometimes you have to like pop it through, and that's okay too. The end goal is the same. It doesn't matter what path you take to get there, as long as you get the yarn over through all 3 of those oops. I will meet you at the end. So here we are at the very end of the row. We've got 2 stitches left. I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, ooh, and pull up a loop, and pull through. See, I do that too. And then we're going to chain 2. We're going to turn our work, and working into that very first stitch, again, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. I will meet you at the end. Okay, so we've got 2 left. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. See what I mean by it twists? So get that through so that both of those loops are on that hook. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So from here, we're going to go ahead and chain, yarn over, and in that very first, we're going to pull up a loop and then pull through all 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. All right, so we are going to go row and row until you have a square. I will meet you at the end. We're going to complete this right now. I'll meet you at the end. Feel free to pause here, and then I will meet you when you have got your square completed and we will do the edging together. So I was going to meet you when I'm all the way square, but I'm not quite there yet. I think I've got one more row. I decided to come back because I wanted to show you what I mean by skipping stitches. I did not mark this. And as you can see, it looks like we're basically done, but I'm not. I still have one more stitch right here. And because it's twisted, I didn't see it and I almost skipped it. Okay? So that's what I mean about if it's really easy to drop a stitch. Had I not done this a million times, I probably would have skipped it. I almost did skip it, and I've been doing this for a long time. So I'm going to finish that one. I'm going to do one more row. Another thing I want to point out, actually, I'll point it out when we get down here to this end. I'm going to do one more row. Now I get to catch up with you guys. Sorry it's taken me so long. All right, so coming up here to the end, and there we go with this one. We want to get both of those chains, both of those loops on that hook, and then we're going to complete our half double crochet. So I want to make sure that I still have 16 stitches. 16 is way down here, and I am going to mark this because we are about to do the edge. So I want you to notice this side is the side that we did one single crochet as far as the turning chain, and this side we did the 2 chains. And do you see how it's a little bit more narrow? The edges kind of poke in right here, even though they're exactly the same row. And the bumps on this side are a little bit bigger than the bumps on this side. That's really the only difference. It still is the same stitches. It still works. So for this, we're going to now do the edge. We're going to be working all the way around. We're going to chain 2 into this same stitch. We're going to pop in. That does not count as a stitch. 1. No. We're going to chain 2, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to yarn over and pop in a half double crochet. Yarn over. In that same stitch, we're going to put 2 more half double crochet for a total of 3 half double crochet in that stitch right there. Then we're going to work our way down, popping a half double crochet into every single row. So we're going to go right here, half double, yarn over, right here. Where'd it go? We're going to pop in a half double right here, half double, and we're going to just work all the way across, half double crochet all the way across. Keep track of how many you put in right here, because we're going to want the same amount on the other side. All right, and in this was our very first, we're going to pop 3 half double crochet in every single corner. So we have our first corner right here. We went all the way down and we just popped in our second corner right here. Now we're going to work our way across and then continue around. So on this edge, this was our beginning, our foundation chain. We're just going to pop a half double crochet in every single stitch, starting with that very first one. So in this last stitch, and this is where we did our little knot, we're going to pop in 3 half double crochets in this one. That's going to be a little bit tight, but we'll get it. We'll just scooch it right on in there. And you'll notice that this tail, we're going to crochet over that, so that's okay. Yarn over, and we're just going to pretend like it doesn't care. Hold it down. Pretend like it's not even there. And then we're going to work our way back across, just like we did on this side. We're going to work our way back across on this side, working into every row. So half double, oh, half double, oh, there we go. All right, feel free to grab that little thing and tug. You want to make sure that it's not really seen, and it does tend to poke out there. So, all right, so then right here in this one stitch, that was our last stitch, we're going to pop in 3 because this is the very end now. we're going to pop in 3 half double crochets into this stitch. This is our last corner. We've already done 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now, crocheted around long enough, it's not going to go anywhere. We can clip that off in just a minute. And then we're going to just go ahead and do half double crochets all across. I will meet you right here. All right, so here we are at the very end. We've got just a couple of more stitches to go. Now keep in mind, this chain 2 did not count as a stitch. There's some debate on whether the chain 2s or if they count. It really depends on the pattern. For this particular pattern, no, it doesn't count. And we're going to do one more right here. And then what we're going to do is slip stitch. We're going to skip this chain altogether. We're going to go into the top of this very first half double crochet and slip stitch right into it. Chain 1, and that's it. We are done. We're going to want to leave a tail long enough so that we can sew in our ends. But there, you can use that as a coaster, as a washcloth. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's go ahead and sew in our ends. Okay, so with this little end, we can just go ahead and clip that because we were able to sew through that just fine. Oh, he's cute. So to weave in our ends, we need a darning needle. I find it easiest to thread because I can't see. So I find it easiest to put the thread, the yarn around the needle, the pointy part, pull it tight, slide it out, and then go ahead and put it through the eye of the needle. That stops it from fraying on the ends. I don't know if you've ever tried to actually, yeah, it's not good for me. So we're going to do it this way. Now, you've got the right side. This is where you can see the V's, the chains pointing towards you. If you flip it over, you see that they're pointing towards the back. This is the wrong side. So you'll hear people say often with crochet, you've got the right side and the wrong side. And that's what they mean by the right side and the wrong side. So we're going to come back here. I'm just going to work my way through. I always sew in my ends through the very back. So I'm going to work it down. Oh, come on. All right. Taking special care not to pull too very tight. And then we're going to work right through these loops on these single crochets or half double crochet. All right. Then we're going to skip this one. We're going to go all the way back through. And one more time, and then we are done weaving our ends. All right. We can go ahead and clip that. Now I like to pull because I don't want it to be too tight. I want it to be almost invisible. I don't want anybody saying, oh, that's where they sewed in the ends. I don't want that being visible. So there we go. A coaster. You can use that to set a cup. Yes, that's my water. It's fine. But that's perfect for that.